I love building LEGO Star Wars creations, and in this video we'll be recreating Kylo Ren's scene from The Last Jedi, where he and the first of the forces are entering the resistance base on Crait. Let's start with the simple outline of where each main component is going to be. We will add 6 First Order snowtroopers under the command of newly declared Supreme Leader, who is the key element for this scene. Let's grab some elements and create clean black frame around our creation. I'm elevating the frame by 1 brick so I can use combination of brackets with taller bricks and 2x4 tires to get spacious and clean looking black frame. Additionally, I'm going also to fill up missing 1x2 plates. After finishing the black frame, I realized that I need to extend the size of the creation by additional few plates to have more space for rock formation in the future. Now I'm going to work on the rock formations that will be on the top of the black frame, surrounding the entirety of the terrain. I'm using here a lot of smaller slopes and wedge plates to achieve diverse but natural looking rock formations. In my opinion, entire creations always look nicer when you make sure it can smoothly blend itself within the type of the terrain you are making. In this case, it being a cave, I want to achieve such look. I have just realized that I used a lot of important elements here that can be very useful in later stages of building, especially entrance of the cave, which will require a lot of rockwork elements, and contrary to what you can see on the table, I don't have as many for such project. So I was thinking about actually leaving this area empty, which will allow me to save elements for later steps of building for more important elements of this creation. And from this perspective you won't really see what's going on over there, so it's more important to focus on those two sides, as those will be mainly visible for the viewer. I'm reworking this side in much simpler and part effective way, and I'm using previously removed rocks to finish the other side. Here I'm just adding a bit of red crystal seen on Crait underneath covering salt. It's time to work on destroyed ground pattern, which is probably the most recognizable element of the scenery which we are building. Visible red cracks within the grey rocks I'm going to achieve by using snot technique, which will definitely consume a lot of my plates. My main goal is to recreate as accurately as I can this look of the destroyed ground on which Kylo and his troops are entering the base. I'm also attaching headlight bricks that will allow me to connect minifigures later on. Now please enjoy this short satisfying footage of completing this component. I love how this ground turned out. Let's quickly raise it to the height of the rock border to better see the layout we'll be working with. We are also going to fill empty spaces to the same level using various colored bricks that will not be required later on. Let's make foundation for the future rock formations using dark bluish grey plates to cover all those crazy colors we have just used. Now we are going to be working on the terrain around main rock formations. I'm using here a lot of tiles, plates and wedge plates to simulate smooth as well as bumpy look of the terrain, trying to achieve this natural look. Finally, I finished most of the terrain work required for this creation, and now we can start on working on the elevation for the entrance of this cave. It's finally time to start working on the main rock formations that will create entrance to the entire cave. I'm building the right side first, as it's going to be viewed from almost every angle. I was just looking on the scene in The Last Jedi which we are building here, and actually there is a lot more snow in this area, so I need to rebuild entire this side. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm using variety of pieces to shape and nicely blend two colors of rock formations. On the left side I want to have more salt than raw rocks, as it is going to be the entrance from the outside. On the other side I'm building up the rockwork. I was playing the Crait map in Battlefront 2 the other day, and there are just a lot of these beautiful red crystals inside the caves, so I was thinking about adding here a red crystal stripe to make this much more interesting, as well as for the entirety of the terrain, because as you can see there is a lot of grey pieces right now, and it isn't the most visually pleasing, so I feel like this is the right course of action. Now we are going to blend the red crystal into the rock formation while still elevating its height and trying to maintain natural look. I love how cool this turned out. It really adds a lot of value to this side of the creation. Let's begin our work on the left side of the entrance to the cave. Here we only need to focus on two main sides, as the left back corner will not be visible in the end. Here we are going to use again snot technique combined with regular building method, as we must incorporate white salt and grey stone into the side of the rock formation. To make this side also way more interesting, I'm implementing another red crystal stripe into the rock formation. Going further, we are elevating the entire rock formation using various wedge parts, slopes and plates to diverse the look of the stone, but at the same time follow its natural look we want to achieve in the end. I'm also following the same process for the elevating and shaping of the right side of the rock formation. Let's make foundations for connecting two sides of the rock formation into one, making simple outline for the entrance of the cave. Additionally, we will work on elevating the right side. So I have been working on those two rock formations for past few hours now, and it starts to really coming nicely together, but there is still a lot of things that needs to be done here. Especially by connecting both rock formations, finishing the entrance to the cave by adding a nice curvature on the top of it. Now we are going to complete the right side of the entire rock formation, using honestly whatever is left and still usable from my part collection in dark bluish grey color, because this creation used a ton of them. Let's build up the rocks over the entrance and nicely finish the top of the rock formation using mostly wedge plates and tiles. And let's add a bit of red crystal onto the top for nicer color accent there. It's time to add minifigures as a finishing touch. So we have squad of our first order snowtroopers and leading them Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Now I invite you to the short cinematic. It's so nice to see this powerful scene come to life as a LEGO recreation. I'm very happy that I added those red crystals, as they add a lot of value and uniqueness for the overall look and aesthetic of this build. It's also so heartwarming for me to see how much I have learned since my last attempt on this scene in May of 2018, which was at the time one of my first scene recreations. Creations with a lot of rock work are never easy, but I have never thought it will take over 12 hours to finish this scene. Still, I love the final effect. If you enjoyed this creation, check out my other LEGO creation visible on the screen.